We're going to start the meeting now. I think a lot of people are delayed by the traffic situation, so they'll be dribbling in as we go. Welcome to the May meeting of the Brew Robotics Club. How many, is this their first time here? Excellent, excellent. So I'll give you sort of a lay of the land. We're here by these facilities are of course Google's, and thank you very much Google for letting us use them. Okay. The agenda for tonight is we start off with club-related news, followed by general robotic news. That'll mostly be a trip report from Maker Faire. And then we do show and tell, where people show off their robots. And then we have a small 5-minute break for people to need to take their kids home because they have school tomorrow. And go to the bathroom, things like that. And then we have a presentation that starts around 8-ish. Depends upon how long show and tell goes. And our speaker tonight is Hanno Sander, who will be talking about robots in education. I'm not sure that's the exact title, but that's pretty close. Let's see, what else? Normally we have all 4 screens lit up so people can sit in everywhere. Tonight we're having technical difficulties, so we're going to be bringing in a portable projector. It's going to be set up on that table, and this is the screen that is going to be at. So if you're not close to the screen, you might want to sort of mosey on over so you can see what's going on. Okay, club-related news. Okay, first, I'm going to tell you where our budget or bank balance is. We are now at $1,120 in our banking account. That is mostly due to membership dues, but we also had a fairly large donation from Dave Calkins of RoboGames, okay? And he has donated $600 to the club. He's done it because of our club members have helped out a lot in RoboGames, and of course we bring robots. But the three members he was mostly thinking about are our own Bob Allen, raise your hand Bob, okay? Ted Larson, and Camp Peavy, who is not here right now. You'll be coming later, okay? So I just, we love Dave Calkins, we love RoboGames, so thank you very much.
And just to point out, it was their fee that they had paid to RoboGames.
Oh, okay.
So that's why they got to be acknowledged for that. And Dave said, since you guys have done so much for RoboGames for us, we'll contribute that to the club on your behalf.
So for those of you who didn't hear what our Secretary Treasurer said, basically Bob and Ted and Camp were paying fees to go to the games, and basically Dave Calkins has said, let's refund those fees to the club. So again, just thank you so much. Frankly, we're going to have a big part. No, that's not how it works. Okay. Now, what?
Maybe they don't want it.
No, we talked it over with them all first.
Just invite us.
So,
you can invite you to a party.
yeah. Okay. Next month's meeting is our 10th annual tabletop challenge. It's really a fairly large show and tell. It is also a potluck dinner. So for those of you who want to bring food and have a potluck dinner, it will be starting at 6. I think it's here at this one, but I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's here. And apparently we'll have access to a patio and for the potluck. And then we'll do tabletop challenge and show off all of our robots. So that's what's coming next meeting. And my understanding is that the July meeting, I haven't heard absolute official confirmation of this, but I think it's pretty good. We will be having our meeting at Willow Garage. For those of you who don't know, Willow Garage is one of the premier robotics think tanks here in the Valley, and they're located over on Willow Avenue in Menlo Park. What?
Willow Road.
Willow Road, I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. Okay?
What month was that? Wait.
That would be July, our July meeting. And then they'll probably be giving tours of their sort of mini factory where they build the PR2 robots. Okay, in addition, we've recently voted in bylaws for this club, and the deal is, for legal reasons, we have to vote members into the club. Okay, now, my software basically looks at the previous month's roster and the current month's roster and prints out badges for all the differences. So all I do is read off the badges here. And there's a bunch of new people because we finally picked up all of the family members because we have family-based membership. So I'm just going to read them all off here, and then all of you who are members will vote on them unless, if there's any objections, please let us know. Okay, Andrew Zerby, Ingolf Sander, I thought you would, yeah, okay. Andrew Sy, Marlene Pratt-Canis.
Your last name's Turner.
What? Turner, I'm sorry. The software has a flaw in it, and you found it. James Salzman, Larry Miller, Anthony Pratt-Canis, got that one right. Ben Margolis, who I think is still doing finals. Tom Van Buskirk, Kirk Van Buskirk. Paul Ulbrich, Pat Martinet, Carol Martinet, Andre Martinet, Shiloh Curtis, Seal Craig, Tanya Blagette, Ryan Blagette, Josh Blagette, Zin Belleville, Max Belleville, and Kevin Belleville, and Ryan Elliott. Okay? So, does anybody have any objections to any of those people that we named? If not, all in favor, say aye. Here, raise your hands. Any objections? Okay. Welcome our new members. Okay. I think it's time to do the robot news. I think the big thing that has happened is we had Maker Faire last weekend. I wasn't able to go. Does anybody want to say what it was like? Don't be bashful. Who went? Let's get all the people who went. Okay. So, Bob, why don't you be willing to talk to you and walking up here and giving us a
Pastor Bob, Pastor.
Especially after this weekend.
and you have to speak up.
Oh, that's right, huh? There was about 100,000 people that came to Maker in all different areas. Ted and I were mainly kind of in the Google Robotics area, so we demonstrated some Android bug droids. But there was in the robotics area, there was quite a few. There was, I think, a Vex robotics team, First Team. I know Alan was also there. He may have had some. He got a chance to walk around more than I did. But a lot of cool stuff. Some of the big news, which isn't robotic, but it's related to a lot of us. The tech shop got some large funding from Autodesk, which is really cool. And they also announced that they're going to NBC is going to produce kind of a reality program. They still don't know what it is, but it's going to involve the tech shop and makers. And they've already got some very big sponsors that's going to sponsor the show. And Mike Rowe from 30 Jobs is going to be the host. So that's going to be kind of cool. And it's good for Jim because Jim Newton, he's the founder. And he's been working really hard for a number of years to get the tech shop up and running. So that was a big announcement there. But if you hadn't been, Tech Shop's really cool. Go online, see what was there. Definitely go next year. if you like a lot of people. I don't particularly like a lot of people, but I was stuck there anyway. And Ryan was our host, as well as some other Googlers, and we appreciate them having us. And they're a great team to work with. Google had a really nice setup. We were outside. They had shipping containers, 3 of them. One was set up for SketchUp, one was set up for Ryan's group, the Cloud Robotics, and then the center one was kind of like a stage where we had talks and stuff about every 40 minutes or so. So that worked out really well. But just a lot of cool things. So go next year. It's big. You got to get there early.
Thanks for bringing it.
So what happened? Also, Google launched several weather balloons with cameras that were kind of broadcasting live and stuff. What happened to the 2 cameras that we launched, or you guys launched?
I have video for you.
Oh, he has video. Oh, cool.
Cool.
So once he gets that up, that was kind of cool. It was these big weather balloons, and they had an Android kind of guy with a camera in it, and they let him go, and he just takes off, filming the crowd as they come in and stuff. So it was very cool.
One of them went across the bay and like landed on somewhere in the East Bay, didn't it?
Yeah, that wasn't very far. Normally they go like 200 miles.
Really?
But the path it went up and then zigzagged like back and forth. The wind, the different levels were going in different directions, so it didn't go very far. But the one on Sunday landed in a forest, 30 feet up high in a tree.
Really?
3.5 miles from our nearest road, or from the nearest path.
Oh wow!
So that was something.
Oh, cool. And then also, I don't know if Ryan has it, but he has some really good video of a little bug droid going up into outer space on one of these weather balloons. It's really cool. You can kind of see the curvature of the Earth, and then he's sitting there, and something happens to him. And I won't say what, just in case he has a video. But if we don't show it, you can come and ask me tonight after the meeting's over.
Okay. Anybody else want to talk a bit about their experiences at Maker Faire? Yeah, come on. Yeah, it's a bit of an obstacle course tonight. For those of you who don't know, we're having technical difficulties with the projectors, so we're going to have to make do with a portable projector. Yes?
Couple things that I saw. Massimo Bonzi, one of the founders of Arduino, an open source microcontroller robotics company out of Italy, gave a talk and announced that they'll be releasing both an Ethernet or Arduino board and a Wi-Fi Arduino board, both with the Android 80K chips this summer. And also, one thing that I really thought was cool was well, there was the Google autonomous cars, and then there was like a build your own autonomous drone. So for that mad scientists and warlords in the making, we could make our own army with drones. So those were my highlights.
Mm-hmm. Excellent, excellent. Okay. There was also Google I/O. I don't know how many people were able to go to Google I/O. Not as many. Ted, can you give just a little brief?
Yeah.
I don't want to make Bob come up here twice. Yeah.
So Google I/O is Google's official love fest with their customers and clients and whatnot. And I'd never been to it before. It was cool. We had a good time. There was a lot of robots there and a lot of other things. There was people, there was applications and things that were showing off their latest laptop that has that runs Chrome and some of the other things that are new Google products. But as far as we were concerned, there were robots there. We had these bug droid guys there that were running around, and then Hasbro showed off a walking cell phone. So it's like a cell phone with legs. So like the phone rings, or it has a character concept and it's on the front. So it gets up and walks around, and you can poke at it, and it's very interactive, and it walks around, and it comes up, and it uses it uses the face detection and the camera to find if it sees a face, and then it comes over and it's like, hello, you know, and you try to interact with it. And then it also used cloud services on the back end, so you could show it various flashcards and it would recognize them, and it would back up and get a scared of certain pictures, and it would come forward if it liked the pictures that you showed it. And then they had an after-hours party that had a whole bunch of interesting, strange items. There was a flying car that was like there in the party. There was and it was a full-size flying car. And there was the Uno one-wheeled motorcycle was there. They were showing it off. And then Hasbro showed some other robots. These black ones over here, where we're going to bring up and show them to you guys later. And then what else was there? There was just a ton of stuff. There was too much stuff to see in just the 2 days, and lots of interesting talks. But I was really blown away at like how many robotic, or you know, there was the Sphero device, which is a little robotic ball that you can drive around with your cell phone. That was there. Then I was blown away at how many, like, you know, items that moved and did things that were related to phones or tablets. iRobot was there with all their new robots. There was just a lot of robotic stuff there, and it was cool. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's your robot.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's the guy. That's the walking phone. So you could poke at him. There's the video. You could poke at him. I was gonna have to show us an ad.
Yeah, that's a good.
Just while that ad is coming up, the concept for that product actually came from our club. One of our club members, who doesn't show up too often, he's from Japan, actually had a little prototype of that. Ted and I saw it, and we took it to Hasbro and actually turned it into something.
Yes.
So we're always, you know, keeping our eyes out looking for stuff, and you never know when one of our club members, you know, has something cool. But that's one of them.
And so the phones also have, there's boy phones and girl phones, and they had accessories that went along with them. Like the boy phone had like this cool little monocle thing you could wear, and the girl phone had like a kitty hat with like a purse and stuff. There it is right there, that's the girl phone. And
how does it move?
it moves using this really animalistic kind of method where it's got legs up in the front here, and then it's got feet that kind of propel it. So it can lay down flat or get up, and then it kind of shuffles across the table using these legs. And because it can move the leg independent of the foot in the back, it can get into all of these weird positions and stuff and climb and move around. You see here they're showing it a picture of a transformer or something, like a Decepticon, and it's going to get upset and it's going to move away. Maybe we'll see.
There was no Wi-Fi working.
Oh yeah, right. That was another problem. The Wi-Fi and everything was all just slammed because there was a million people. You can see you can interact with it, you know, and it gets upset when you poke it in the eye. You shake it, it gets all dizzy. So this was an example of a robot that was at Google I/O that was cool.
And how long did it take you to go from idea to these prototypes?
8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Yeah, 8 weeks.
Okay,
Yeah.
folks, this is Silicon Valley.
Yeah. Yeah. And it took 8 weeks and 6 companies working together to make it come together.
So now that we have the projector, I'll show a few more things if that's okay. That you talked
It's
about?
part of show and tell. Let's anybody else want to talk about the Maker Faire or Google I/O?
Yeah,
Alan.
it's inspired. The coolest thing I saw at Maker's Faire was an Android phone split in half with a stereo viewer.
Yeah.
So he had stereo on the phone, and he had the gyroscope in there. So as you moved, the stereo vision changed of different things.
Wow.
So it actually wasn't. It just was doing 2 synced photos. Wasn't interlaced or anything.
Yeah.
With like the old.
Stereo Viewmaster.
Viewmaster, and it was
Cool.
just blew my mind.
Did he have 2 phones? Or you said he actually
One
split
phone,
the phone in half?
one phone, 2 images, and he didn't saw it in half. He had glasses on, 2 lenses on.
Is it just the focal length to the perspective distance?
What he had is one of those, the old Apple, wherever you move, you had full 360-degree dome, you were in a sphere. So anytime you looked up, you had.
So it wasn't actually taking photos of the real world. It had some pre.
No, it had things preloaded.
Yeah.
This was the Maker Faire balloon launch. You guys are the first to see this outside of Google.
Yeah, but we already signed the release.
This is just a quick cut of full-length video will be available next week. But there was a GoPro HD camera on the bottom of the balloon package, and then an Android phone on board. And the Android phone was recording G-forces, acceleration, pictures, sound. Yeah, that's my son.
There it goes.
So there's a shot where you can kind of see the line, people waiting to get in there.
What time did you
There's my car.
That's the east entrance.
You have to get FAA approval for launch.
There is a licensing process. You have to be like 5 feet away or 5 miles away from an airport. Weights, there's weights, rules on the strings. You have to have a radar reflector, but it's very easy to do for $500 if you just follow the rules. So we'll have a full video of that next week.
Get a picture of the space station?
No. We don't have a picture of it landing in the tree. We'll get that next time.
So we're not through the cloud layer.
Yeah.
Show them one of the Android in space.
Yeah, I'll pull that up. This was the thing that you mentioned from Google I/O.
Oh, right.
Which, and I put this on the mailing list for anyone who wanted to try ROS on Android. We released ROS Java.
Right.
And just to remember how to get here is really easy. cloudrobotics.com.
Okay. Good.
And then if you haven't seen the talk, the 35-minute talk is there. You can watch the video.
Very good.
Cool.
Okay. Do you have any more, or we can intersperse
Yeah, please.
as you want? Okay.
Please.
Okay. How many people have robots to show tonight? Okay. So what I tend to, how many of those people need some setup? I know I need a little setup. Okay. You need some setup. Okay. Why don't you start setting up over here? And
Well, I'll just drive it over.
you'll drive it over. Okay. Okay. Let's start with. I saw your hand. You're new. You don't want to do it yet. Okay. Who was next over here? Was it Alan? Did you raise your hand? Come on up. And for those people who are walking in because of the traffic jam, this is the Homebrew Robotics Club, and welcome.
Well, this is an outgrowth of the club bot we all have been working on. It started out about this much, and I got carried away and added this one here. So what it has is jaws that's worked by a third servo, and actually ran all 3 phases in the Robo games, and I actually put the jaws and the motor on since then, so it's working a little differently now, but I'm hoping to get all back up to phase 3 and actually improve its performance.
Did you win a medal at the Robo Games?
Silver.
You did?
Yep, got silver. So. Now leave him. Somebody. Hopefully, I'll work. Go. Oh, well.
Battery problems.
No, that should be. They never worked it.
There's a loose wire there.
Yeah, I need one loose wire, but other than that, I don't believe it. Well,
You did make it through the car.
I guess not. Just set up a car.
As I was driving over here, I was going, something's burning, and I look over towards my pile of robot stuff, and there's smoke coming out. I'm like, oops. I think I've got a battery short.
Oh, well.
Okay. Next time.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So we're going to do intersperse here. Who's next on the robot thing? I saw a whole bunch of people over there. What? Okay. We'll do Alan next.
Let me sneak back up there. This might actually work.
Okay.
I don't know what the problem is.
We're flexible here.
One more time. Apologies.
So,
Okay, the first prime directive of this robot is not to fall off the table. So there's two little downward-looking IR sensors, and it's got two forward-looking IR sensors. Gotta find me if I'm not careful. Looking straight like that at a lower level, and has to find the object, which might take a while to do this ring. This is sneaky monkey.
And just shoot it up just to shorten up the.
FC something. Oh, try it again. Go for it. No, it's just, this is what it's been doing since I put more jaws on. Now I like to play handball with it or something. But if it trips the little micro switch in the back of the jaws, you will then close on it like that, or let go, whatever. And yeah, it's not working really good with the new jaws yet, but it's phase 2, and it's supposed to capture it and push it off the table. Which we did. So there you go.
Glad to see that it worked. Okay, we'll do Alan next.
So this is Gopher in an Android costume. Hopefully, thanks to Ryan's help, he'll actually have an Android in him next time.
Oh, good.
So he's using an old VEX, but he's basically 3 channels. I'm using these Rogue motors. He does have live sensors, so the sonar sensor decided to act up. So he has sonar, so he has basic obstacle avoidance, bump sensor, turn away from obstacles. So that's bounded autonomy. So in order to make him a little more lifelike, I slave servos to the motor inputs. So when he's going forward, the arms go forward. When he's going backwards, the arms go backwards. So basically, I'm left motor, right arm, right motor, left arm, and then the head. So for those of people who are just getting started, one of the really neat things about robots is that if you have a signal that controls a servo from -90 to +90, you can control a motor from negative full volts to negative positive volts through a device called the PWM, pulse width modulator. And it's one of the neatest things is that the servo is getting a square wave, and the PWM gets the same square wave, and it's kind of real easy. So the same signal that's powering the wheels is powering the arms. And so I thought that was a good way to demonstrate that. And I use these gear motors, which are kind of expensive, but pretty reliable. Problem is, they're good. These are the same kind of motors that you use for a cordless drill. This is a little more expensive kind, but it's a gear motor. And one of the problems with gear motors that are DC motors is they're much better in one direction than the other. They're good forward, so if you're putting 12 volts on the red wire, it's going to run really well. If you reverse it and put 12 volts on the black wire, reverse it backwards, it's going to be around 80 to 75% as efficient. So when you actually program a robot, you actually have to sort of cheat to say, on my good motor, it's in the right direction, only go at 80%. Otherwise, you tend to drift off in one direction or the other, especially if you're doing differential drive. Thank you.
Okay. So who's next? Okay, let's do Brandon. You're not ready? You need to set up time? Start setting up. Okay, let's do... it's John and John, right?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I'm not too good with names.
That's all right.
This is a robot Big T. We've been working on it for about 6 months. Kind of our humanoid experiment. And we working on the arm a lot. We've gotten the arm to work a little bit, but we're actually making a new base drive because the base drive is our fault.
As you can see, I can't get it to go really straight as much as I'd like it to.
That robot game probably put almost like 3 kilometers on it, and it just toasted the drive, which is good because we found out it just is not going to make it for a long time. But we're using like the same system camp is using. It's basically a camp drive, we call it. And they're very dependable, rugged motors and a rugged. Okay. But yeah.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, the other one. Hold on. Has a bite of its own sometimes.
There it goes. Let's straighten it out so you can see. Sorry about that. It's life of its own at times.
Technical difficulties.
He doesn't want to cooperate.
It worked just before we came up here.
Of course.
Tony saw it. But anyway, by the next challenge, we'll have the whole new robot, whole new drive, and it's getting closer to more of a production model now.
Very good. Very good.
Thanks.
Excellent. Okay, you're not ready yet, right?
Not quite.
Okay. Who's next? I saw some more people in this neck of the woods.
I can go ahead and go.
Okay, let's come on up. I made it.
Yeah, I made it. My name's William. It's my first night here. So this is my main robot I'm working on now. The idea behind it was a security robot for the house, so I can be away from the house and roam around the house. And my goal is to have it so I can always. So if I leave for a week, it still has power for a week. So I'm in the process of building a charging dock for it. I figure that's the best way to keep it charged. So I don't know if you guys have seen this base before. It's from DF Robots. There's a couple. They were selling it at the Maker Shed at the Maker Fair, so I was surprised to see that there. And what I like about DF Robots, they make a lot of stuff themselves. They are in China, but they make a lot of cool stuff. So it's running four-wheel drive motors with an Arduino Mega and a bunch of sensors on it, rear IRs, ultrasonic, and IRs in the front to compensate for the deficiencies of each. It can talk and audio, and it has an LCD output of all the sensors, so a distance, battery voltage, humidity, temperature, pretty much everything I could throw at it, and camera. So it had some power problems, so originally I had 1 battery, now I have to run off 2. And I also have to have a delayed start, otherwise the servos will trip the battery. So it's like that.
What kind of micro are you using? Arduino?
Yeah, Arduino Mega 2560. So just to let the battery reset. So I have a 5-second delay so that some systems can power up before the servos power up. I have a, and the Arduino Mega's regulator wasn't good enough, so I have another regulator that I can control power to. Separate, they can handle a lot more power. There we go. So, the problem I have now is, as I loop through all the sensors, sometimes I'll run into an object before it's time to process that there's an object there. And if I go too fast, it'll trip the battery. Yeah, it should stop, but.
And you folks can't see it, but he's printing out stuff on his LCD here.
So and they can do pretty much any voice with the SparkFun voice shield with the TTS chip, so I don't have to use any Arduino space for doing voice. Also have predefined sounds, and then also so right now I'm using the XPs. The final revision will be Wi-Fi since the XPs boot up so quickly. I don't have to wait for Wi-Fi to connect, and it's all controlled via ASPX website. So I can be anywhere in the world, and as long as I have a web connection, I can connect to it.
Yeah.
And also has a night vision, you can see at night.
Excellent. That's a pretty good first robot.
Yeah, I started in January.
Most excellent. Okay. Let's see. Who's still on the show? Are you ready this time? Okay. Who's next? I saw some more hands over there. Ted, and obviously Bob, and you, and Ryan. Okay. I'm going to do. Why don't you, Brandon first, and then you can come up. Okay.
Yeah, so we talked, I went to Google I/O this year, and I got this little 80K board, which they were showing off and demonstrating. So I got one, so I decided to try to build an accessory to go with it. So I built this little hand tilt head, and I wrote an application which is basically a blob tracking application. So basically it turns the the Android phone into like a CMU cam type thing. So this, all the vision's taking place on the phone in this case. And so I have this little app, and what I can do is I can put it, actually turn it this way. Okay. So what I can do is I can put a target in front of it, and then I touch the target, and then once it touches the target, then it starts tracking the target. So I touch it again. And so I just got this working today, so I still have some tuning to do, but the basic parts are all working. And
Is that using CMU Vision?
It's not using CMU Vision. So this is custom stuff right now. I've actually written a Vision library in C, so I started porting that over. So actually all this is running in Java right now, but it's working pretty good, and I can change like to the green. If I touch that, now it will start tracking this. So anyways, afterwards I can show what the interface looks like, and you can kind of see. So
I think Camp's here.
So anyways, so it's starting to look at the light, so.
The Bane.
Don't go into the light.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You're next, and then we'll.
Hello, I'm new here tonight. And I'm just going to show my little, it's a maze solving robot that I built a couple years ago, last year. It's fully scratch built. The interesting thing about it is its drive system, in that it is using a direct drive DC brushless motors. So there's no gears and it's no brushless, so the motor is kind of built into the wheel. And it works really well. You can go, of course, really fast as it's direct drive, but it also can spin the wheel at any time, so it's got enough torque to accelerate as fast as it can. And it's got a nice OLED display, 60 megahertz ARM running there. And I don't think we have a maze here, so I can't really show too much, but I can do.
You would have had to go to Robo Games to find the
Yeah,
maze.
that's what I mean. But I can, let me see what I got here. I can.
This is for micromouse?
Yeah, micromouse.
Got competition.
Do you have one?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the club is pushing Micromouse.
Ah. Okay. Well, this is not the problem. There's a problem with the motors, but this should at least make it run around a bit. If I'm not mistaken. Whoops! I think I escaped out of it. There's just some random trajectories with them. Anyway, but so it's got a full, optical encoder, everything to.
Wow, that's very good.
From Is it
So-
a third wheel or is it just a skid on the? Just got skids. It's got eight IR sensors all around it, so it goes bi-directional. It doesn't turn around.
You guys have competition for the maze next year. Cool.
So now I got to repurpose it to something.
No, build another one.
Build another one?
Yeah. Yeah, the problem I have is I'm always taking apart my robots to build the next robot, so I
Yeah,
have...
you'll end up with 2 non-working robots. instead of
Yeah.
one that-
Well, I had a previous one that I built, and I already got parts.
Yeah, so you understand the phenomenon. So. And can I just see more hands of who's going to be doing show and tell? It's Bob, Ted, that gentleman back there. Okay, right.
Yeah, so just briefly, this is what we handed out at Google I/O, and this was the accessory development kit for Android. And I just want to show you what was in the box, but I'll tell you the more important parts. So we had a power supply, and we had a couple of little micro servos, and then that project was using this, which is 2 parts. One is an Arduino Mega that's been modified to have an extra USB host on it, so you can still do your programming using the normal Arduino IDE through the USB slave port where your laptop or computer is the host. And then there's an additional Maxim USB host chip on here, and then it can plug into your phone where your phone is the slave, and then this is the master for the USB connection. It requires Android 2.3.4 for phones, which is right now just on the Nexus S that he was using, but coming to more phones quickly, like the Nexus 1 and Galaxy S and so forth, or the tablets. So Android 3.1 on the Zoom tablet and the other tablets that are coming out this year. So the board was not the most important piece. This was just a demo to show that you could have something be USB host and talk over USB to a phone or a tablet. The important part was that that API exists, and so now a commercial phone that people will have in their pockets could dock with any robot without needing to root it, without needing to go into settings and turn on any debugging. It's just ready to go, standard supported API protocol.
Hallelujah!
Also, no license required.
Right.
No approval
don't
process
have
or
to sign
licensing
your life away.
fees. Yeah. And then,
Probably open source too.
yes, open
Oh, it's
source.
open source, yay!
The design, so we open sourced the board, and now there's 9 companies selling these. So Seed Studio, Spark Fun, Massimo announced Arduino will have one, plus any USB host shield. And this was just a demo shield that had a joystick and some buttons and things for people to get started. So if you have a new phone, I encourage you to try it. I have 2 devices here today for, as Wayne was saying, for people who will come back with it working in a demo. So if you have the appropriate phone or tablet and the time to come show us something by next month, one of these can be yours.
Yeah, we'll raffle them off. How many people would be interested in bringing back a robot with that next month? Looks like we have 3 people. Can I count?
I have a question.
Googlers put their hand down.
So it looks like it's between John and Steve.
Okay.
Yeah?
Is Galaxy S the same thing as a Nexus?
The Nexus S was based on the Galaxy S, but the Galaxy S doesn't have that update yet.
Doesn't have that update yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
We have a question. We want to know which tablet works the best.
It's out right now, like, you
The-
guys had the best assessment.
so the Motorola Zoom is the one that has the new 3.1,
Okay.
and the others will be coming. Thanks so much.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so how many people felt that could come back with a robot next month that was using it? Steve, you had your hand up?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Where? There. Okay, we've got 2 people. We've got 2 kits. So Steve and I've forgotten your name.
James Hall.
James. There you go. We've got those. We're also going to be there. I've lost your name already.
Jack.
We're going to be. Jack has got 2 dead Roombas that we're going to be raffling off to people who want to see if they can bring them back as working robots.
Plus a Linksys router.
Plus a Linksys router.
That works.
That works. Okay. Who else was on show and tell? There's Bob and Ted and that gentleman. So we're going to do that gentleman. I'm putting you last because I need to go out to the car so I can get the badges and the controller that I left out in the car. So, and I know you guys will spend a few minutes talking. Okay. Okay.
Hi. This is my first time here, first robot. I just met Ralph last night at the Connect Hack meetup up in San Francisco, and he told me about this place. So I thought I'd come down. I'm proud of this just because I built it while in training for the Air Force. I'm in the Air National Guard over at Moffett, and with basically no resources or anybody to consult. But it's based off of the $50 robot tutorial on the Society of Robots website. So hopefully it's all charged up, and it's just a simple photo bore, light sensors, and it's supposed to turn towards the light. So if you shield it, and that's it. It's not calibrated very well, I don't think, but
very good.
That's it.
Okay. Is there anybody else before Bob and Ted? Okay, Bob and Ted, take over. I'm going to run out to the car and get the badges and something that else I left in the car.
A couple of goodies here. I'm just going to turn this down in a minute. While I do that, Ted will talk about this guy.
So this is a robot that we designed in 2008, and it never made it to market. And we spent several years of effort on it, and it still may make it to market, but we haven't been able to really bring it out and show it to anybody because they keep telling us that they're going to ship it, and then they never do. So we finally talked them into letting us show it at Google I/O, which that was the first time it had ever been shown in North America. It was shown at Toy Fair in Japan in 2008, and Sega was going to market it. And anyway, we're still trying to talk them into shipping it, but since it was shown at Google I/O, we can kind of show it around a little more than we did. I guess we'd kind of appreciate it if you didn't take a video of it and put it on YouTube and say you saw it at the Homebrew Robotics Club, because that's probably not a good idea. But yeah, because
that would be you, Camp. No.
Yeah, that would be you, Camp. So it's fine and everything to take pictures and whatever. It's just we just don't want to get in trouble. But we kind of figure it's okay to show it a little more now because it was shown in public at Google I/O, and there's tons of video out there that's been shown. So it's not exactly like it's a big secret. And there's also a possibility they'll never ship it anyway. So the product is called AMP, which stands for Automated Music Personality. And basically, it was originally built to be an iPod phone, an iPod dock. So you'd put your iPod in a little backpack that hung on the back of him. And he has a 10-watt amplifier built into him. He has a sub in his chest and 2 tweeters in the shoulders. And the idea is it's basically a robot that plays your iPod and follows you around. And oh, by the way, it happens to balance on 2 wheels, which it's the world's first toy 2-wheel balancing robot that actually would have made it to market if they decided to ship it. The company Wowee showed a 2-wheel balancing robot they were going to ship at CES about 4 years ago, but they could never get it to work right, even though they had a partnership with Segway. So they ended up scrapping it and never actually
Ted
putting it.
went over to look at it, and he was going to touch it, and they go, no, don't touch it, please don't touch it. It was like so fragile.
It was like a one-of-a-kind prototype.
Yeah.
This one was actually going to ship in 2008, but we all kind of know there was a big economic meltdown that happened about the same time. It was a $300 to $400 item. They didn't think that it was going to sell well, so they kind of shelved it. Maybe not the economy's turning around. Maybe we're going to be able to reinvent it. What we're trying to hopefully get them to do is reinvent it as an Android phone accessory. That's one of the reasons why we took it to Google I/O. And we now have a really cool Android app that basically runs him. Whereas before it was just a remote control that you could drive him with. And unfortunately, this one's got some kind of a problem, and he has a remote. This one, I didn't bring the remote, but I brought the phone, so hopefully we'll be able to make him drive around here. Of course, you know, demos, they always break. So let's see.
You guys had one with a tablet head that I thought looked slick.
Yeah, we have one with a tablet head that was built at Ryan's prodding. And let's see, this is a A9.
Well, Ted kind of maybe gets him up and going. These are a couple of Bud droids that we also had at Google I/O. That if I don't drive him off the table, obviously he's balanced. Heads move. We had 12, I think 12 of Antbots and 5 Bug droids. Uh-oh.
Stop.
Sorry.
Forward.
Come on, go forward. So what we were able to do, it was kind of cool with the Bug droids. We've got kind of their eyes, which is kind of cool. When he's not balancing, they're blue, and then we can change the color. Let's see if I can get a different color. We can see the different colors, and we can go through and just kind of change the colors. We also have voice.
I'll be back.
And so,
I am an Android.
So
how can I help you?
This was another app. It was an Android phone, and the app was done with App Inventor, and we want to thank Brandon for doing that. He was the one that kind of got it all in the phone and did all the voice stuff, so we appreciate that help. But we can drive him around. Amazingly, he's pretty kid tolerant. At Maker Faire this last weekend, as you saw a quick video, we had these guys, and he was surrounded by kids, and he was only knocked down twice. Once was by a guy running through the audience, and he kind of brushed him and knocked him down, and he was real apologetic. I, came over and said, "Gee, I'm really sorry," and I picked him up and said, "I think he's okay, but do you have a Visa or MasterCard?" and he kind of went, and I said, "No, that's okay." And then another little kid just went ballistic on him and just whacked him on the head. And of course, he fell down. But the kids seemed to really like, I don't know, it was something magical. Maybe it's because of the bald head. Oh, I wasn't looking at you when I said that. But all the kids like doing this. And they just like rubbing his little head. So that was kind of cool. So you can see Ted's got Ampbot up and running, and Amp is pretty amped up. He can spin and do all kinds of cool things. I have to give Ted credit. When we first got this guy, we didn't realize all the stuff that was going to be in him, and the motors in them are like about this big around and about that long, and we're used to really big motors, and we had to make them balance. I should say we, Ted, it actually took almost a year to get the right dynamics and everything, and Ted worked really hard on the software to get him up and running. And we were letting people at Google I/O actually drive these guys around using the app, and they were having a ball. They were running into people, or running into different.
And they were drinking.
Yeah, they were drinking.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We didn't have any casualties. We had some weird things going on between amps and Bud droids, though. They got kind of too close, and when balancers get too close, they kind of do this. And I know we got some kids in the audience, so I'll just leave it at that. But so anyway, hopefully we'll see maybe one of these guys on the market one of these days.
So the interesting thing about this guy is he has a kickstand that goes up and down. So while he's there, you can park him. So he parks himself. And then when you want to make him go again, you cycle him to the mode that gets him going again, and then he brings his kickstand back up, and then you drive him away.
And the cool thing about that kickstand is, I don't know how many engineers in China, mechanical guys, they had working on this thing, but when it comes down, it can't pinch any kid's hands. When it goes up, you can't pinch any fingers. But yet it still has to have enough power to hold the robot up and come up quickly and not, and not hurt anybody. So later you can come and you can kind of feel, right now I can take and pull him, and he's totally flexible. But when he comes down, he comes down and holds the robot.
So
Up. Yeah.
How much is it supposed to sell for?
$300 or $400. That's what it was supposed to sell for. You get this cool pickup switch too. When you pick him up, he just deploys his.
Yeah.
Kicks down. So yeah, so we'll see if they ever make him. I hope they do.
Yeah.
Maybe we can reinvent him as an Android accessory.
We're getting ready for the raffle parts, okay? So James Nugent had bought this robot kit from TI, and he's donating it to the club. This is sort of a higher end robot kit. Lots of assembly required, and it's for the Cortex M. It's their Cortex M3 product line. So, so anybody who thinks they're pretty competent would probably be a better shot at this. This is not an introductory one. Is anybody interested? I don't want to scare anybody away. We have like 3 people. Okay, 4. Okay, so we'll come up afterwards and we'll do the raffle to figure out which one of you 4 can have it. Okay. Okay. In addition, we have 2 Roombas, and would anybody be interested in trying to get a Roomba to repurpose it to a robot? We have at least one.
A scuba.
Scuba? Yep. So we only have one taker so far. 2 takers? 3 takers? What? Yeah. Okay, so again, we'll raffle these off. And there's also a WRTS, a Linksys router, right?
A Linksys router. Yeah.
A Linksys router. Anybody interested in the Linksys router? What? We got a taker. Okay, that gentleman back there, I'll take that. Take the router. Okay. Just go find this guy and pick it up. Okay, and then being the president, I get to go last. So I've been working on what's called a SCARA arm. I don't remember what SCARA stands for. And this demo may not work.
It's probably batteries.
No, I hit the switch. Nope, it's not looking good.
Oh, it's demoitis.
It's demoitis. I'm gonna have to work on it. I guarantee you this was working, no less than 2 hours ago. But
before the smoke,
there's one going. There we go. So will this one work? I think I lost this motor.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
2 out of 3. This thing was generating smoke in my car. So yeah, I've completely lost this one. It's
do it again. Show the smoke.
So there it is. Anyhow, this thing has a payload capacity. It's designed to take 11 pounds of weight on the end here. It's actually quite strong. It will flex some as it goes, but it can take a fair amount of weight. And the reason why it's staircases here is I wanted to be able to reach down to the floor from my robot. My robot has about this much clearance from the floor to the top of the platform. So that's why it kind of staircases down. So, and I've been working on this off and on for the better part of a year. And eventually I'll put a wrist on there and stuff like that.
And you're working in a horizontal plane instead of a vertical plane because?
What?
You're working in the horizontal plane instead of a vertical plane
This is a horizontal plane arm, and there's a vertical component that I'm working on now. Okay. So anyway, that's my show and tell finally. Okay. What we do now is we take a 5-minute break so people can go to the bathroom and things like that. And then this also gives our speaker time to do his setup. And then we'll start in about 5 minutes for Hanno Sanders' talk. Thank you very much. 5-minute break, not any longer.